Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I am delighted to see you all here today. Today, we will be discussing the impact of updated GMP guidelines on API manufacturing. My name is Dr. S.K. Singh, and I hold a PhD in this field. Over the next few minutes, I will guide you through the key changes and their implications for our industry. We'll cover what's new, why it matters, and how we can adapt to these updates. So, let's get started and explore this important topic together. Today, I'll be introducing you to API manufacturing. API stands for active pharmaceutical ingredient, which is the biologically active component of drug products that actually produces the therapeutic effect. When we talk about manufacturing APIs, it involves several key steps. First, there's synthesis or fermentation, where the API is created either chemically or biologically. Next, we move on to purification, which is crucial to ensure we isolate the desired compound and remove any impurities. Then, quality control is performed to confirm that the API meets all required standards before it's used in medications. It's important to note that this entire process is governed by Good Manufacturing Practice Frameworks, or GMP. These guidelines are in place to ensure three main things: safety, meaning the API is free from harmful contaminants; purity, so the API is as pure as it needs to be; and consistency, which ensures that each batch of API is uniform and reliable. To give you an example, even a small impurity in the API can have a significant impact. For instance, impurities can increase drug toxicity, which is why strict control measures are essential throughout the manufacturing process. This highlights how critical quality and precision are in API manufacturing, directly affecting the safety and effectiveness of the final medication. Let's take a look at some of the recent GMP updates happening between 2023 and 2025 that are impacting APIs. First, we have the ICH Q9, R1, which focuses on enhanced quality risk management. This update emphasizes a more integrated and proactive approach to identifying and mitigating risks throughout the manufacturing process. Then, there's ICH Q14, coming in 2024, which deals with analytical procedure development, aiming to streamline and strengthen how we develop and validate analytical methods. Following that, ICH Q2, R2 modernizes analytical validation, making the process more robust and aligned with current technological capabilities. In addition, we've seen an increase in FDA inspections post-COVID, reflecting a renewed focus on compliance and quality assurance. And looking ahead to 2026, data integrity remains a critical area, with updates like the EU GMP Chapter 4 and Annex 11, reinforcing the importance of accurate, reliable data management across all operations. Now, let's connect this to the core GMP framework for APIs. The key regulation here is ICH Q7, which is the primary GMP guideline specifically for APIs. It covers essential areas such as quality systems, production controls, validation, and documentation, all fundamental to ensuring consistent product quality. Regulatory agencies like the FDA and EMA are actively aligning their standards with these updates. The FDA's compliance is governed by 21 CFR, while the EMA's requirements are specified in EU GMP Part II. Staying current with these changes is crucial for our continued compliance and success in the global marketplace. Let's take a closer look at the advanced analytical development approach outlined in ICH Q14. This involves adopting a lifecycle approach to analytical methods, which means we're not just developing methods once and forgetting about them. Instead, we integrate development, validation, and post-approval changes into a continuous process that ensures ongoing robustness and improvement. This integrated lifecycle approach allows us to be more flexible and responsive to changes, ultimately supporting better product quality. On the scientific front, we're seeing increased use of advanced technologies like near-infrared spectroscopy, or NIR, and Raman spectroscopy. These tools enable faster, more accurate analysis, sometimes even replacing traditional end product testing through real-time release testing. This shift has a significant impact on quality risk management. It moves us from subjective assessments to a more science-based risk evaluation, which is more reliable and consistent. For example, instead of just testing at the end, we can now perform risk-based assessments of impurity formation pathways, allowing us to develop targeted control strategies that address potential issues proactively. Overall, these advancements improve our ability to manage supply chain risks, ensure product availability, and make more informed, risk-based decisions, helping us deliver higher quality medicines more efficiently. Now, let's focus on data integrity and digital GMP. We're strengthening core principles like ALCOA+ and ensuring electronic records are robust and reliable. These are fundamental to maintaining trust and compliance in our data management systems. Looking ahead, we anticipate upcoming updates, such as the revision of EU GMP Annex 11, which will place even greater emphasis on data governance. This means tighter controls and clear responsibilities to safeguard data integrity. For example, consider audit trail reviews in chromatography systems. This has become a regulatory requirement, ensuring we can trace all data modifications and maintain transparency. The impact of these practices is significant, especially with the rise of modern analytical validation guided by ICH Q2, R2. Validation now encompasses a broader scope, including spectroscopic and advanced analytical techniques, highlighting the need for accuracy, robustness, and life cycle validation. For instance, validating an LC-MS method for trace genotoxic impurities is a good example of this expanded focus. It's about ensuring our methods are precise, reliable, and fit for purpose throughout their entire life cycle. Overall, these updates and practices are about reinforcing our commitment to data integrity and quality, which are critical to both regulatory compliance and the integrity of our scientific work. Let's talk about continuous manufacturing and how it's influenced by the ICH Q13 guidelines. Traditionally, we've used batch processes, but now there's a clear shift towards continuous processes. This transition brings several benefits, including improved consistency in product quality and reduced variability, which is crucial for patient safety and regulatory compliance. Regulators are also expecting real-time monitoring and control, meaning we need to be able to oversee and adjust manufacturing processes on the fly to ensure optimal outcomes. An example of this is continuous crystallization of APIs, where controlling particle size in real time can significantly impact the quality and performance of the final product. This shift has a big impact on the supply chain as well, making transparency more important than ever. We now require traceability of raw materials and thorough supplier qualification to ensure every component meets quality standards. Additionally, new expectations include the need for unique site identification, which is reflected in updates to Common European Pharmacopoeia, or CEP, documentation. For example, tracking API intermediates across multiple global sites helps maintain a seamless and compliant supply chain. Overall, these changes are aimed at making manufacturing more efficient, transparent, and adaptable to regulatory demands. Let's talk about how regulatory inspections have changed recently. Post-pandemic, FDA inspections have increased significantly, which means companies are under more scrutiny than before. To manage this, a risk-based inspection model was introduced, allowing regulators to focus their attention on areas of higher risk. This has led to more intense oversight of data integrity and quality systems, ensuring that critical aspects are thoroughly checked. For example, an inspection might be triggered because a product is manufactured in a high-risk geography, prompting a closer look at compliance in that area. Moving on to validation, we've seen a shift from a one-time process to a life cycle approach. This means validation isn't just a single event anymore, but an ongoing process. This ongoing process includes process validation and continued process verification. For instance, it involves ongoing monitoring of critical process parameters, or CPPs, to ensure the process remains in control over time. The overall impact of these changes is that companies need to adopt a more proactive and continuous approach to quality assurance, aligning with these evolving regulatory expectations. Let's now look at some of the key challenges faced by API manufacturers today. One major issue is the increased compliance costs, which are driven by the need to meet more stringent regulations across different regions. Alongside that, there's a growing requirement for advanced technologies to ensure quality and safety, which can be quite resource-intensive. Having a skilled workforce is also critical, as the complexity of these processes demands expertise at every stage. And when you think globally, aligning regulatory requirements across various countries adds another layer of complexity. It's not always straightforward to keep everything synchronized. On the scientific side, maintaining reproducibility across different scales and sites is a significant challenge. Consistency is vital to ensure that every batch meets the same quality standards, no matter where or how it's produced. Now, these challenges directly impact impurity and safety requirements. For example, recent updates in regulations, such as the ICH Q3C guidelines, have introduced tighter controls on residual solvents. A particular focus has been on nitrosamine impurities and other genotoxic impurities, which pose serious safety concerns. This has led to practical responses from manufacturers, such as reformulating products to mitigate the risk of nitrosamine contamination. All of these issues highlight the ongoing struggle to balance innovation, compliance, and safety in API manufacturing. It's a complex but essential part of delivering quality medicines. Let's now turn our attention to strategic adaptation, which is crucial for staying ahead in this rapidly evolving industry. One key component is implementing a pharmaceutical quality system in line with ICH Q10 guidelines. This provides a comprehensive framework to ensure product quality throughout the entire life cycle. Adopting digital GMP systems is also essential. These systems enable real-time monitoring, data integrity, and more efficient compliance, ultimately leading to better decision-making. Advanced analytics come into play here as well, allowing us to leverage big data to identify trends, predict potential issues, and optimize processes proactively. Finally, risk-based approaches are vital. By focusing resources where they are most needed, we can prioritize quality assurance efforts and reduce unnecessary burdens. Together, these strategies create a more agile, resilient, and scientifically sound approach to pharmaceutical manufacturing, aligning perfectly with our overall goal of continuous improvement and innovation. For further support, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're here to help you with any questions or additional assistance you might need after this presentation. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. We truly appreciate your engagement and look forward to supporting you moving forward.